Good afternoon. I hope you guys have had a great Saturday so far. We have done a little bit of shopping and we had a nice breakfast together this morning. It was my eldest 24th birthday today, so we decided, we'd make a nice breakfast for us all to share, and so that was really fun. We've just been pottering and, as I said, doing a little bit of shopping today. But now I'm down in my craft room because I have some things to share with you. I hope you guys have had a good day, whatever you've been up to. Maybe you've been in your craft room all day. That would have been lovely. I was actually in here this morning and then had to go and make breakfast. So I have been in here twice, which is good for a Saturday. It's nice to have a day where things aren't as constrained by time and you can just kind of do what you feel like doing, which is kind of what Saturdays are all about for me anyway. I'm going to be playing with the Les Shops Designer Series paper and sharing a few fun ideas with you guys, how you can use this paper a little bit differently than how it is printed on the Designer Series paper. And let me flip the camera around so I can show you what I mean. It is actually really fun to play with the little shops that have been printed onto the paper, and I'll show you what I mean. This is absolutely gorgeous paper, and the shops, as I said, come on, I think it's on 2 different designs. So you've got the shops as they are printed on a couple of different sides of the paper. This is just one of them, and as you can see, they're quite easy to cut around. So if you use your paper snips, you can in fact cut around and just leave a little white layer. But I thought, a white border I should say, I thought it would be fun to play with these and mix and match the tops and the bottoms a little bit to change the shops. And so that's what I've done. Made a couple of samples of these cards, but I just wanted to show you the ideas that I came up with, or some of the ideas that I came up with, and inspire you maybe to do some of your own. So we've got a bookshop, which is looks like it's a standalone bookshop, which obviously lends itself to having something on the top, so a residence maybe on the top. So what I did with the bookshop, this is just one example of what you can do when you want to mix and match. You can make a 2-tiered like terrace house type style of dwelling and shop underneath, for example, and that's a little bit like what this is. So even though on the paper itself, as it's printed, it is a standalone bookshop. I've got another house here, which you would have seen it's actually not part of another design in the same Designer Series paper. I've got this one with a little pelmet. So what I'm going to do is just cut those little pelmet. Is that what it's called? Or is it an awning? I think maybe it's an awning. I'm not sure if they're tiles or whether it's a fabric awning, a canvas awning. Yeah, I guess it's tiles maybe. It's got that sort of terracotta tile look about it. I'm not sure what you think. Anyway, we're going to cut around that. See how I've just cut that off the base of the shop that it was already attached to, so I'll use that on something else. And I'm just going to keep cutting around here, just all the way up to the top where the chimney is. Now the thing that you need to remember too is that chimneys are always at the top, so you can't put a chimney in the middle of a stack of floors, because that doesn't work. You can have a chimney all the way up the top of a stack of floors, and presumably everyone has their own chimney, or each chimney is has multiple fireplaces going up it. I'm not sure if that's possible, but definitely you want to have the chimneys at the top. And then what you can do is just layer these together like this, and you've got a completely new building. So I'm going to put that to the side. Another little trick that I want to share with you today is from when I was using the Patchwork Pieces dies. And you'll notice that these actually cut perfect rectangles. When you say cut a piece of cardstock or a designer series paper to cut these out of, I'll just use my cardstock here, you end up with a frame. Now, depending on how big or small you cut your cardstock or paper to start with, will also alter the shape and size of your frame, but it will cut out a fairly clean rectangle. So all of the pattern, the pieces, the patchwork pieces will be cut out, ready to be used, but you'll end up with a perfect rectangular piece that you can use as a frame. And this is what I ended up with. I ended up with heaps and heaps of these frames. You can see how narrow that one is. It's quite fine, and that's okay because it works really well. I'm just going to trim this up a little tiny bit. I could do this with my trimmer, but I'm going to do it with my paper snips just to even that out a little bit, so that when it goes on the card, it just looks a little bit more uniform. I'm just going to cut this bit as well. I'm using the lines of the rectangle in the middle because I know that that is always going to be a perfect rectangle, just to keep those in line. Beautiful. All right, so that's going to go onto my card as well. I had a heap of these left over, and I actually had used the Les Shops designer series paper. So I'm flipping it over and definitely using the pattern side because that's going to coordinate with all the colors. I have a embossing folder here, which is from our online exclusives. These are the basics embossing folders. I think you get 3 of them. This is the crosshatch pattern, and I've just got a plain piece of basic white cardstock, which I will pop in there. And this is also going to go on my card. I've taken the platform off, the extra platform, and I've just got the embossing platform. Don't think these ones are. Oh yes, they are. They are the 3D embossing folders. Okay, so we need the 3D platform. Let me just adapt a plate. Sorry. I keep forgetting that these ones are actually 3D embossing folders. Hi Ness, good to see you. So I'm just running that through, and that's going to turn my plain piece of cardstock into something absolutely gorgeous. This is a beautiful embossing folder. It goes with almost everything. You can use the debossed side or the embossed side, depending on what you want, what sort of look you want for your card. So I'm going to flip it over and actually use the debossed side, which is a little bit flatter and less bumpy. It's got larger flat bits and less bumpy bits. And I'm going to pop that onto some Calypso Coral with my Stampin' Seal. So I'll put that on the bumpiest side, and that's going to be the base for all the other layering that I'm going to do on my card. There we go. So there is the basic white piece. Now for my frame. Now I'm going to try something a little bit different to what I used on my original cards. I have my Stampin' Seal, and I've also got my silicone mat. So I'm going to pop that there, and I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal rather than my Tombow glue. And you guys can try this at home as well. Even though the Tombow glue has a nice fine point, it is super fine. It's really difficult, to actually get it in exactly the right amount and around your frame where you would like it to go when it's a really thin frame like this. So on the underside of my frame, I'm going to just put a little bit of the Stampin' Seal, and I'm going to use the silicone mat because the seal does not stick anywhere else other than on the designer series paper, which is where I want it to go, because the silicone mat actually repels any adhesive. It's amazing. So it's great to use for when you've got little pieces that you just want to get a little tiny bit of that Stampin' Seal adhesive onto. And you don't need a lot of adhesive, just like with the Tombow, you're only sticking paper to cardstock, and that is much less messy than trying to use this glue on something that's a little bit tiny. So that's a little tip for you. Get your Stamp and Seal and your silicone mat, both of which are available in my online store. And this is brilliant. There's no drying time. You've got a little bit of time to adjust. If you need to peel it off again, you can do that carefully and just pop it back down where you would like it to go. But then it will stick permanently after a good while, after about a day or so. Okay, so we have our newly constructed little bookshop with a residence above it. Wouldn't you love to live above a bookshop? I think that would be so much fun. I would do far too much shopping in the bookshop. If I owned the bookshop, it would be super handy as well. I think that looks like a really gorgeous combination, a little residence above a bookshop. Now, to help this sort of stand out a little bit on the card, I am going to use my Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm going to put one in each corner and one in the middle. So we're going to let those just sit there for a second, and then I'm also going to do the same on my little bookshop, my downstairs floor. I'm going to put 5, one in each corner and one in the middle, like so. And I'll just get all of those off. So this just kind of helps it to look a little bit more realistic, and it basically 3Ds it on the card for you. So yeah, you'll see what I mean once it's on there. Just kind of line it up and see where it needs to go. That's looking about right. And then I'm just going to layer this so that the pelmet, the tiled pelmet, is just overlapping the top of the roof of the bookshop, like that. Looking pretty good. So I think that looks really cute. I love all the colors together. I think the Calypso Coral is the perfect base card for this. But how cool does it look with a little bit of embossing in that background? It really adds quite a lot of interest, I think, to that card. Let me show you some more. Would you like to see some more combinations? So let me show you. Here's one with another residence above the shop, and this one is the clothes shop. And upstairs we've got the residence, and it looks like I think that was above the craft shop or the painting shop. It looks like the person that lives there likes to do a little bit of crafting and painting, and that's got a different embossing folder in the background and a different frame as well, you will notice. All from the Les Shops. This is the underside, the patterns of the Les Shops designer series paper, and it all coordinates so beautifully. Here's another one. This is actually a 3-story. So this one's got the paint shop and the artist residence, we'll call it. And look, they've got a little rooftop garden or yeah, another living space above. And I've just attached each of those. I've actually put a new plinth on the top of that residence as well. So you can actually layer several times and really change the look of one of these little shops. Here's another one. This one looks like it's a plant shop or a florist. I like the silhouettes of the plants inside those windows. And then there's the residence above, and I've actually switched around that tiled roof and popped it on the top of that residence. So I've used that separately as well, and you've got a different frame also. This one's on, what's this called? Not Blush Blossom. I'm trying to remember what this one's called. Petal Pink, there you go. That's just done on Petal Pink base card. Here is our pasta shop or our pasta restaurant. I have used the top of a different shop on there. It almost looks like the restaurant is up above, and the pasta, maybe it's like a gourmet food, fresh food grocer type thing where you can come and buy your fresh pasta. Definitely looks like pasta. and there's olive oil or wine, I think, sitting on there. But I liked the blue with the yellow. I thought that was quite nice. So I've mixed and matched that one. Here is our ice cream and confectionery shop. And above, it looks like we've got a little, it's either a residence, someone that likes cooking Chinese food. There's actually chopsticks in a sign. This is the Chinese food place that would have been on the ground floor. So maybe it's a double-tiered business residence. I'm not sure. There we go. So we've got lots of different combinations, and as you look at this paper, you will probably come up with more, I will say. You will definitely have more ideas to add to what I've just done here, what I've just shown you. So we've got six different options, but I'm sure there are many, many more that are yet to be discovered. I hope that you have enjoyed those ideas, a little bit of an idea about how to use up your scraps, a few tips on using your stamp and seal with your silicone mat, as well as mixing and matching your shop fronts. Remember, you are not restricted to the shop fronts that are printed on the Les Shops Designer Series paper. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll just flip you around to say goodbye. I hope you enjoyed those ideas, and I'd love to see some of the ideas that you come up with. So if you have played with this paper, or if you're yet to play with the paper, maybe you've got it in your stash and you haven't even opened it yet. It is beautiful. One side is the geometric patterns, and the other side has all sorts of food items, and as I said, there's two different sheets of the shops, so you will have a lot of fun designing your own cards. Hi Wendy, I'm glad you liked them. I'm going to pop them up on my Facebook page so you guys can get a closer look, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm off to a 50th birthday party tonight, so looking forward to that. I think we'll need to rug up because it's freezing cold here in Wollongong. I don't know what this weather's doing. It was so warm a couple of days ago, and now we've got the really cold winter weather back again. I guess winter's not over yet, but whatever you're doing, I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you next Saturday. Bye.